Right now, at this very moment, the world's most advanced construction companies couldn't build this. We've landed rovers on Mars. We've built skyscrapers that pierce the clouds. We've even created artificial intelligence. But we cannot replicate this. 2.3 million stone blocks, each weighing up to 80 tons, fitted so precisely that you can't slide a razor blade between them. And here's what will keep you watching. The Egyptians had no iron tools, no wheels, and no pulleys. I'm about to show you evidence that will make you question everything you thought you knew about ancient history. But before I reveal the discovery that's dividing scientists today, hit that subscribe button on Historonix, because this mystery goes deeper than the pyramids themselves. Welcome back to Historonix, where we dive deep into history's greatest enigmas. I'm your host, and today we're tackling the question that has obsessed humanity for 4,500 years. The Great Pyramid of Giza. Built around 2560 BCE during the reign of Pharaoh Khufu. It stood as the tallest man-made structure on Earth for 3,800 years. Let that sink in, 3,800 years of being unmatched. The numbers are staggering. 846.6 meters tall originally, 230-meter base on each side, covering 13 acres, aligned to true north with just 3/60th of a single degree error. That alignment, we couldn't achieve it without lasers and GPS until the 1960s. For centuries, historians, engineers, archaeologists, and yes, even fringe theorists have proposed explanations. Some make sense, others, well, you'll see. But here's what makes this video different. I'm going to show you the latest scientific evidence, the experiments that failed, and the one theory that most documentaries won't touch because it challenges everything. And trust me, by minute 14, you're going to see something that'll make your jaw drop. So stay with me. Let's start with the basics, because even the basics of pyramid construction are extraordinary. The average block weighs 2.5 tons. That's the weight of a large SUV. Now multiply that by 2.3 million, but those are just the average blocks. The granite blocks in the King's Chamber, 25 to 80 tons each, transported from Aswan, 800 kilometers away. Picture this. You need to move an 80-ton block 800 kilometers without engines, without steel cables, without hydraulics. How? The traditional explanation goes like this. Thousands of workers, probably 20,000 to 30,000, hauled these stones on sledges. They poured water on the sand to reduce friction. Yes, that actually works, we've tested it. And they pulled. In 1997, Dr. Mark Lehner and his team tried to build a small pyramid using ancient techniques. They successfully moved blocks using copper tools, wooden sledges, and sheer manpower. So case closed, right? The Egyptians did it with Bronze Age technology and massive workforce. Not so fast, because here's where the story gets interesting. And this is the part most documentaries gloss over. But before we continue, I want you to pause and think. If you had to move an 80-ton stone 800 kilometers using only ancient tools, what would be your strategy? Drop your answer in the comments below. I'm genuinely curious what solutions you'd come up with. Now we get to the part that keeps engineers up at night. In 2018, a team of structural engineers from the University of Cambridge examined the precision of the Great Pyramid's construction. What they found was unsettling. The base of the pyramid is level to within 2.1 centimeters across its 230-meter width. That's a variance of 0.09%. The four sides are aligned to the cardinal points, with an error of only 0.05 degrees. For context, many modern buildings don't achieve this level of precision. The Millennium Dome in London? Alignment error of 0.5 degrees, 10 times worse than a structure built 4,500 years ago. But here's where it gets weird. The facing stones, most of which are now gone, were polished to near optical quality. Some archaeologists describe them as smoother than modern concrete. When these white limestone facing stones were intact, the pyramid would have gleamed like a mirror under the Egyptian sun. Ancient writers described it as a jewel, now achieving this precision with copper chisels and dolerite pounders. Here's the problem. Copper is soft. It's softer than limestone. When modern archaeologists tried cutting limestone with copper tools, they wore out dozens of chisels just to cut a few inches. Do the math. 2.3 million blocks, each requiring precise cutting and shaping. If each block took even 1 day to cut, transport, and place, we're looking at 2.3 million man-days of work. But Khufu's reign lasted only 23 years. That means they would need to quarry, transport, and precisely place one block every 2 to 3 minutes, working 10 hours a day, every day for 20 years straight. Think about that for a second. Every 2 to 3 minutes, for 20 years. Which leads us to the big question. All right, let's talk theories, and I'm going to present them all, the accepted, the controversial, and the downright bizarre. Theory number 1, the ramp theory. This is the mainstream explanation. The Egyptians built massive ramps, either straight, spiral, or zigzagging, up the sides of the pyramid to haul the stones. And yes, we've found evidence of ramps at other pyramid sites. The problem? To reach the top of the Great Pyramid, a straight ramp would need to be over a mile long and contain more material than the pyramid itself. A spiral ramp? It couldn't turn tight corners with 80-ton granite blocks. In 2007, architect Jean-Pierre Houdin proposed an internal ramp theory, a ramp built inside the pyramid itself. It's elegant, it's possible, but we can't prove it without damaging the pyramid. Theory number 2, the water shaft theory. Some engineers propose the Egyptians used water pressure and flotation to lift the blocks. They point to unexplained shafts inside the pyramid. And we do know the Egyptians were masters of hydraulic engineering. They controlled the Nile's floods, built canals, and understood water mechanics better than most ancient civilizations. But when engineers tried to replicate this method in 2019, they could only lift blocks a few meters, not the 146 meters needed. Theory number 3, the concrete theory. Here's where it gets controversial. In 2006, materials scientist Joseph Davidovits proposed something radical. The pyramid blocks weren't carved, they were poured. According to Davidovits, the Egyptians created a form of ancient concrete, a mixture of limestone rubble, natron, which is a naturally occurring sodium carbonate, and water, poured it into molds and let it set. His microscopic analysis showed organic fibers and air bubbles in the blocks, consistent with cast concrete, not natural limestone. But here's the catch. Other geologists examined the same blocks and found geological layering patterns consistent with natural stone. The debate rages on. Which theory makes the most sense to you so far? The ramps, the water shafts, or the ancient concrete? Comment below with ramps, water, or concrete. Let's see which theory Historinix viewers find most convincing. Now, here's the part I've been waiting to tell you. The discovery that changes everything. In 2022, a team of archaeologists made an announcement that mainstream media barely covered. It's so significant that it rewrites our understanding of Egyptian capabilities. At the site of Hatnub, a limestone quarry 15 kilometers from the Nile, they found something extraordinary. A ramp system that shouldn't exist according to our previous understanding. But it wasn't just any ramp. The ramp had a central staircase and 2 side ramps with post holes indicating a sophisticated pulley system. Wait, pulleys? But we were told the ancient Egyptians didn't have pulleys. Dr. Roland Enmarch from the University of Liverpool led the study. His team calculated that this system could have reduced the workforce needed to haul a massive stone by 50%. Here's how it worked. Ropes attached to the sledge wrapped around wooden posts. As workers pulled the ropes, the posts acted as a mechanical advantage system, a proto-pulley, multiplying their force. With this method, moving an 80-ton block becomes significantly more feasible. Not easy, but feasible. This discovery validates some aspects of the traditional theory while completely upending our timeline of technological development. But here's the twist within the twist. The graffiti found at this site dates to the reign of Khufu, the exact pharaoh who built the Great Pyramid. This wasn't some later innovation. They had this technology during the pyramid's construction. So why did we miss this for 4,500 years? Because wood rots, ropes decay. The organic components of their engineering disappeared, leaving only the stones, making us assume they had nothing but brute force. If they used this system at Giza, and there's no reason to think they didn't, it solves one of our biggest puzzles. Not all of them, but one major piece clicks into place. But Dr. Enmarch himself admits, this answers how they could have moved the stones, But it doesn't explain the precision, the alignment, or the speed of construction. The mystery isn't solved, it's just more sophisticated than we thought. Let's talk about what we still can't explain. Mystery number 1. The shafts. The King's Chamber and Queen's Chamber both have narrow shafts, only 20 centimeters wide, extending through the pyramid at precise angles. These shafts align with specific stars: Thuban, which was the pole star of 2500 BCE, and Sirius. But they're too narrow for ventilation and too elaborate for just symbolic purposes. When we sent robots up these shafts, they found sealed doors with copper handles. Behind those doors? More mystery. Why seal doors in shafts that no human could access? Mystery number 2. The voids. In 2017, using cosmic ray imaging, scientists discovered a massive void above the Grand Gallery, a chamber as large as the Grand Gallery itself. We don't know what's in there. We don't know how to access it without damaging the structure. It's been sealed for 4,500 years. Is it structural? Is it a hidden chamber? The pyramid still guards its secrets. Mystery number 3. The mathematical precision. Here's something that makes mathematicians uncomfortable. The pyramid's dimensions encode several mathematical constants. The ratio of the pyramid's perimeter to its height equals 2p 2 times pi, within 0.05% accuracy. Coincidence? The ratio of the slant height to half the base equals phi, the golden ratio. And here's the weirdest one. The pyramid is location at coordinates 29.9792 degrees. North is suspiciously close to the speed of light in meters per second, 299,792, 458 meters per second. Now, skeptics rightfully point out that you can find numerical coincidences in any structure if you look hard enough. And they're not wrong. But the sheer number of mathematical relationships is statistically odd. What's your take? Are these mathematical relationships intentional design, pure coincidence, or are we just really good at finding patterns where none exist? Let me know in the comments. This one's genuinely fascinating to debate. So, how were the pyramids built? The honest answer is, we're getting closer, but we don't fully know. The 2022 discovery of the pulley system is a massive breakthrough. It shows the Egyptians were more technologically sophisticated than we gave them credit for. They weren't primitive. They were brilliant engineers who understood leverage, force multiplication, astronomy, and mathematics. But the speed of construction, the precision, and yes, those mysterious mathematical relationships, they still push the boundaries of what we think ancient humans could achieve. And perhaps that's the real lesson here. We consistently underestimate our ancestors. We assume that without computers, without steel, without engines, they must have been less capable. But maybe they were simply capable in different ways. Ways we're still trying to understand. The Great Pyramid has stood for 4,500 years, watching civilizations rise and fall, keeping its secrets. And you know what? I think it'll keep some of those secrets for a while longer. And that brings us to the end of today's deep dive on Historionics. But the conversation doesn't stop here. I want to hear from you. What's your theory? Do you think we've cracked the mystery with the 2022 discovery, or is there still something we're missing? Are those mathematical relationships coincidence or intentional design? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one. And the best insights might feature in a follow-up video. And if you enjoyed this mystery, if you learned something new, or if I managed to make you question what you thought you knew about ancient history, hit that subscribe button and tap the bell icon so you do not miss our next deep dive into history's greatest enigmas. Coming up next on Historionics, we're tackling the lost city of Atlantis, myth, reality, or misidentified historical event. Trust me, the evidence might surprise you. Give this video a thumbs up if the pyramids just got even more interesting, and share it with anyone who loves a good historical mystery. Until next time, keep questioning, keep learning, and remember, history is never as simple as we think it is. This is Historionics. Stay curious.